Hi, my name is Siobhan Byrns, and I'm an associate professor of art at the University of Lynchburg. Oh, why don't you go be an artist? If you fail at being an artist, you can always go to medical school. You're young, you're crazy, go be an artist first, and then go back. So I went to school in Baltimore at the Maryland Institute College of Art. I did study chemistry with my art because my goal originally was to be an art restorationist. I loved fixing things, especially repaired paintings, and I used to love the idea when you would go into a museum, you're looking at pieces that are 800 years old and they're pristine, and that's not possible. So I was like, all right, that's how I'm gonna make my life. I'm gonna be an art restorationist. It's gonna be great. And then so I studied painting and drawing, and then I took this one photography class, and it was right as the cusp of digital was coming on. Digital only cameras only came with AA batteries, and you had about 12 shots, and then you had to go replace your batteries. But I loved it. And so I actually never studied traditional film until I went to grad school, and I was the only digital photographer. So I ended up, through graduate school, teaching digital to all the photographers, and then in trade, them teaching me some of these older processes. And then I went to go work at the Art Institute of Chicago in the digital department as an art restorationist for priceless pieces of work that we're not allowed to touch. So we were allowed to photograph them and then remix the chemicals to show what they would look like. And therefore the insurance company's happy, museums are happy, and we can actually see the artist's intent. So I did that with George Seurat's Le Grand Jatte. I've done it with a couple of Monets. And then I decided I want to teach. So I kind of ventured over to Lynchburg and started teaching. So that's kind of my crazy path. I always start out my classes and I have all the students and we play it almost like The Price is Right, like who has the most images on their phone and how many of them have printed them in the last 3 months, 6 months, year. We don't, and I'm guilty of it too. I think I have 8,000 pictures, but I also have kids, so it's I have that guilty pleasure. I have all these pictures of my kids on my phone, but it's I am an artist. So I really got into taking those images and then printing digital negatives, which are the old negatives. So we print them Ansel Adams style, 8x10 negatives, and then we do prints from them. So, and each of these is a different process. So I have tintypes, I do salt prints, cyanotypes, tintypes, a little bit of everything. So each one has a very different feel, but I think it lends it to whatever the subject matter that I'm talking about. So this piece and that piece was after the birth of my first child. I did a series. It was right when the Syrian refugee crisis was hitting, and we were seeing all these images of refugees on boats heading towards Greece and heading towards Europe, and bandits would sabotage them and kind of cut the rafts. And so the idea of all these belongings were washing up on shore, and you'd see these primarily Christian countries that were saying we don't want them. And so I was thinking about the idea of water and how that biblically water is supposed to be cleansing and baptizing, but it was sentencing these people to death. So I started doing religious items like wedding dresses and christening gowns in cyanotype as if they were floating. So this is a really large piece. These are my mess ups. The good ones I have framed, but it's also a process you don't get a one-off. There's dozens and dozens of copies and paper tests that go into kind of creating these, but that's a negativeless, that's a cameraless photo. So those are just done with clothing. Some of these other ones, these are cameras that people are throwing out. This is built by Star Camera Company. They build them based on the lenses, but it's something we could build at vector space. It's a slide within a slide. These older cameras, people were selling these when digital came in. So they're all done with modified film holders. So I pulled a tintype and I messed up on it. So we modify them and drop plates in them. And so you're taking it like you would a normal photograph, and you just develop it that way. I enjoy it. It's a really fun exploration, and a digital camera, the best ISO you can get is 80. Tintypes are 1. So you're talking about the detail. Daguerreotypes, there's this old legend, with a daguerreotype who's even smaller than 1, you can actually see the photographer in the reflection of the eye, and daguerreotypes are only about this big. So it's really funny. I love quoting The Incredibles too. You can tell I have kids. We'll sacrifice quality for convenience any day. Most of the time we don't care, as long as it's on our phone, we can show our friends a picture, but these images are you can feel them. And that's what I think I like about the process, is it's super physical, it's super dirty, and you feel almost you're making something. And I love teaching it because I always tell the kids, I know scientifically and I know chemically why this is happening, but it's still I'm at Hogwarts every single time a picture comes out, because it's just magic. I love tying it in because it's physics, it's chemistry, and it's art. completely combine into a like liberal arts education.